Captain Lisa Martinez stared at the small blue figure huddled in the corner of the cargo bay. Her purple eyes were wide with fear, and her tiny hands shook as she clutched a torn piece of fabric. The alien child could not be more than 6 years old by human standards. The rescue mission on Kepler Station had been brutal. The Vorthan slavers had turned the entire outpost into a nightmare of cages and auction blocks. Lisa had seen many horrors in her 15 years with the Colonial Defense Force, but nothing prepared her for what they found in those dark chambers. "Are you going to sell me like Papa?" the little alien whispered in broken standard. Her voice was like wind chimes in a gentle breeze, but the words hit Lisa harder than any. Plasma Blast Lisa knelt down slowly, keeping her movements careful and non-threatening. She had dealt with traumatized survivors before, but this was different. This child belonged to the Zephyrian race, known throughout the galaxy for their incredible psychic abilities and their peaceful nature. The slavers had been hunting them for decades. "No, sweetheart. Nobody is going to sell you, I promise," Lisa said softly. "My name is Lisa. What is your name?" The child looked up with those enormous purple eyes that seemed to hold the depth of entire nebulas. "Zara. My papa called me his little star before the bad men took him away." Lisa felt her heart breaking. The Zephyrians were one of the most advanced races in the known galaxy. Their technology was centuries ahead of human development, and their understanding of the universe made them seem almost magical. Yet here was this tiny being reduced to trembling in fear because of the cruelty of others. "Zara is a beautiful name," Lisa said. "I want you to know that you are safe now. The bad men cannot hurt you anymore." But even as Lisa spoke those words, she knew the situation was far more complicated than she could explain to a frightened child. The Zephyrian collective had been systematically destroyed by various criminal organizations over the past 50 years. Their psychic abilities made them incredibly valuable as slaves, and their peaceful nature made them easy targets. Commander Kate Williams entered the cargo bay, her boots echoing against the metal floor. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and eyes that had seen too much combat. Her face was grim as she approached Lisa Martinez. "We have a problem," Kate said quietly. "The Galactic Council is demanding we turn the child over to them. They claim she is too dangerous to remain with humans." Lisa stood up, her jaw tightening. "Dangerous? She is a traumatized child, Kate, not a weapon." "The Council does not see it that way," Kate replied. "Her psychic abilities are off the charts according to our scanners. She could level a city block if she lost control. They want her in a containment facility." Zara seemed to understand the tension in the room. Her small body began to glow with a soft blue light, and the temperature around them dropped several degrees. Objects in the cargo bay started to vibrate slightly. "Please do not take me away," Zara whispered. "I will be good. I promise I will not use my powers." Lisa looked down at the child and made a decision that would change everything. "Kate, we are not turning her over to anyone. She stays with us. Martinez, that is an order from the highest levels of command. If we refuse, we will be court-martialed, and the child will be taken anyway. Then we better make sure nobody finds us," Lisa said. What followed was the most dangerous game of cat and mouse in recent galactic history. Lisa and her crew aboard the starship Phoenix went rogue, taking Zara with them. They moved from system to system, staying ahead of both the Galactic Council forces and the criminal organizations that wanted to recapture the child. During their months in hiding, Lisa learned more about Zara and her people than any human had ever known. The Zephyrians were not just psychically gifted. They were empathically connected to all life in the universe. They could feel the emotions and pain of every living being around them. This was why they had become so peaceful over the centuries. The constant awareness of suffering had made violence impossible for them, but it also made them incredibly vulnerable. Zara could sense the greed and cruelty in the hearts of those who hunted her. She knew exactly what they wanted to do to her, and the knowledge filled her with a terror that threatened to overwhelm her young mind. "Why do the bad people want to hurt us?" Zara asked one night as Lisa tucked her into bed in her quarters. "We never hurt anyone." Lisa sat on the edge of the small bed, struggling to find words that would make sense to a child. Sometimes people are afraid of things they do not understand, and sometimes people want to use beautiful things for ugly purposes. "Am I beautiful?" Zara asked. "You are the most beautiful person I have ever met," Lisa said honestly. "Not because of how you look, but because of who you are inside. Your heart is pure and kind, and that makes you shine brighter than any star." As the weeks passed, Zara began to trust Lisa completely. She started to open up about her abilities and her lost family. Her father had been a scholar who studied the ancient texts of their people. Her mother had been a healer who could mend both physical wounds and emotional trauma. Both had been killed when the slavers attacked their hidden colony. "Papa told me stories about the old days," Zara said one afternoon as she and Lisa sat in the ship's observation deck watching the stars stream past. "He said there was a time when all the races of the galaxy lived in peace, and the Zephyrians were the guardians of that peace." "What happened to change that?" Lisa asked. "The hunger came," Zara said, her young face growing serious. "Papa said some people became hungry for power and control, and the hunger grew until it ate everything good in the galaxy. The Zephyrians tried to stop it, but we were too gentle. We could not fight the way the hungry ones fought." Lisa realized that Zara was describing something far more significant than simple criminal activity. The child was talking about a fundamental shift in galactic civilization itself. The peaceful era that the Zephyrians had helped maintain was over, and now the galaxy was dominated by those who saw everything in terms of profit and power. The chase continued for months. Lisa and her crew performed impossible maneuvers and desperate gambles to stay ahead of their pursuers. They had help from unexpected sources. Other races that had been oppressed by the current galactic order began to assist them, quietly providing information and safe havens, but the pressure was mounting. The Galactic Council had declared Lisa and her crew to be terrorists and pirates. Every bounty hunter and mercenary in known space was looking for them. The Phoenix was running low on supplies, and the crew was exhausted. It was during their darkest hour that Zara made a discovery that changed everything. While exploring the ship's computer systems with her psychic abilities, she found encrypted files that had been hidden in the databanks for decades. "Lisa, look at this," Zara said, her eyes glowing with excitement. She projected images into the air using her powers, showing ancient star charts and mathematical formulas. "These files contain the location of the Lost Archive." Lisa stared at the holographic display. In amazement, the Lost Archive was a legend among space explorers. Supposedly, it contained the collected knowledge of the first galactic civilization, including technologies that could revolutionize space travel and communication. "How did these files get on our ship?" Lisa asked. "I think someone wanted them to be found," Zara said. "The patterns in the data feel familiar, like they were made by Zephyrian hands." Following the coordinates in the files, Lisa and her crew traveled to a remote system. On the edge of known space, there orbiting a dying star, they found something incredible, a massive crystalline structure that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. "It is beautiful," Zara whispered as they approached the structure. "I can feel minds inside, sleeping minds waiting to wake up." The Lost Archive was not just a library, it was a repository of consciousness itself. The greatest minds of the ancient galactic civilization had uploaded themselves into the crystalline matrix before their physical bodies died. They had been waiting for centuries for someone worthy to find them. When Zara made contact with the archive, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Thousands of ancient voices welcomed her, speaking in harmonious chorus. They had been waiting for a Zephyrian to return. They had been waiting for someone who could understand their message of peace and unity. The archive contained more than just knowledge. It contained the blueprint for a new type of starship, technology that could travel instantly between any 2 points in the galaxy, without the need for traditional faster-than-light drives. These ships could not be used for war or conquest. They would only respond to those with peaceful intentions. With the help of the archive, Lisa and Zara began to build a network of allies across the galaxy. Races that had been oppressed and enslaved were given access to the new technology. The balance of power began to shift away from the criminal organizations and corrupt governments. The Galactic Council tried to stop them, but they found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. The new ships could appear anywhere without warning, and their occupants seemed to know exactly where to strike to do the most. Good and the least harm Zara grew stronger and more confident as the months passed. She was no longer the frightened child hiding in a cargo bay. She became a beacon of hope for the oppressed peoples of the galaxy. Her psychic abilities allowed her to coordinate rescue missions across multiple star systems simultaneously. "You know what this means, Don, not you?" Lisa said to Zara one day as they stood on the bridge of their new crystalline ship watching the